Here's a new one for everybody on this channel. We're going to rank every AC-130 in COD history. Welcome to the page, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. The AC-130, the Flying Fortress, is one of the most intimidating kill streaks in COD history. Debuted in Modern Warfare 2, and then it returned a total of 5 more times. Sometimes it's called the AC-130, sometimes it's called the Gunship, but it is always extremely powerful, and today we're going to rank every one of them from the worst to the best. You can do your ranking in the comments section as well. Drop a like, and let's start off at number 5, the worst AC-130, but that doesn't mean it was bad. Modern Warfare 3. It's a little brother to the original AC-130. Now keep in mind, still a fantastic streak, and just because it's last doesn't mean it was bad, but something has to be last, right? But it was certainly worse than other versions of this legendary streak. This AC-130 would cost you 12 points in the Assault Strike package. Who remembers those? And it was almost identical to the Modern Warfare 2 version. It featured 3 weapons: a 105mm howitzer, a 40mm cannon with 4 shots, and a 25mm Vulcan turret with 20 rounds. Now, you could swap between each weapon while the others were reloading, so if you knew your timing and you had it down, you could constantly rain down fire on the enemy team. So, why did I put this version last? Well, it came with 2 flares, so it would take 3 rockets to destroy, but with how common SAM turrets and stingers were in Modern Warfare 3, it would often get shot down, and unlike Modern Warfare 2, your kills in the AC-130 didn't count towards other streaks. So, you couldn't use this thing as an easy stepping stone to your Moab. Still, extremely powerful. Gave you lots of extra points. Before we move on, guys, if you get anything from G2A.com, code CHAOS for some cash back. Whether it be a Steam code, whether it be a new PC game, take advantage. The link is at the top of the description. At number 4, the Black Ops Cold War Gunship. The most recent AC-130. It has a lot of destructive power, but quite a few flaws that we're going to talk about why it didn't get a higher spot. It would cost you a whopping 10,000 points. It had a 90-second cooldown. It was unlocked at level 54, and it was rather easily countered with things like a SAM turret and air patrol. But with all that being said, the sheer power of this version was insane. The weapons were super fun to use, and it sounded really intimidating. And that blast radius, it was actually pretty generous. It allowed you to decimate entire teams with ease. Like I said, the Gunship could be shot down somewhat easily, and it was probably the hardest one on this entire list to earn. But once you actually got it and called it in, it was insanely strong. All things considered, I think it's slightly better than the Modern Warfare 3 version. But, like I said, still really good. At number 3, the Modern Warfare 2019 Gunship. It made its triumphant return as the Gunship in this game, and it functioned very similar to the Modern Warfare 3 version, but with a few buffs. Instead of 4 secondary rounds and 20 Vulcan rounds, this version had 5 secondary rounds and 30 Vulcan rounds in addition to the 1 giant cannon shot that you started your rotation with. Now, it would cost you 12 kills or 1,500 points with Point Man. It was strong. It had a couple flares on board to keep it from getting shot down too quickly. With how much power it was packing, it wasn't hard to stay ahead of the curve and kill enemies before they could lock their launchers onto you. Now, granted, Modern Warfare 2019 had some spawn protection, so you couldn't just spawn trap with the Gunship the way you could in older games, but it was still a very tough streak to deal with, and it could get you another 10 to 15 kills easy on smaller maps. Now, it struggled on the bigger ones, but it had a lot of potential. I think it's worthy of the number 3 spot. At number 2, the Black Ops 4 Gunship. Super underrated. It was very similar to Modern Warfare 2 and 3's versions, but with 2 cannon shots instead of 1, which made it even more intimidating. It would cost you 1,600 points, but if you managed to get it, you were in for at least another 10 kills. You were. I mean, you were, because there was only 1 rocket launcher in Black Ops 4, and it wasn't shot down very frequently. The Gunship also had a lot of health and flares, so it was pretty easy to just keep killing the enemy team over and over again before they could get those rockets off. If someone got a Gunship in BO4, it was pretty common for the enemy team just to back out and not even deal with the oncoming destruction. I mean, Black Ops 4 wasn't the most popular COD multiplayer, but the Gunship, it was powerful. And if you never experienced it, if you did experience it, you probably agree why it's so high up. It was insane. But there's one AC-130 that was the best. At number 1, no shocker, no controversy here. The Modern Warfare 2 AC-130, the legend. It was ridiculous. It set the standard for kill streaks in COD moving forward. It would cost you 11 kills, but would consistently give you another 10 to 15, often putting you over the threshold for the nuke. It had 2 flares, meaning it could take 3 rockets to destroy it, which was pretty difficult to do because of how quickly this thing would wipe the enemy team out over and over and over again. Usually couldn't even shoot 3 rockets at it by the time that I got you. It was too late. And back in the day, if somebody called in an AC-130, you had to frantically start looking for the operator's body because they were almost definitely going to get a nuke within the next 30 seconds if you did not find them. Now, for the amount of power this thing had, as well as the amount of terror it instilled in the enemy team, the Modern Warfare 2 AC-130 takes the top spot on today's ranking, and I don't think anybody is going to argue with me. Let me know what you guys think. Rank them yourself, and I'll see you soon.